It's the Jack
and Kathy
Show.
Shit Show.
And there we go.
Yeah, how was
okay,
that?
that,
Like
I think it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we want to do a little intro for today's podcast because it's a little bit longer, and we want to give you guys some perspective because we just kind of dive into the podcast with Terri. But we met Terri about a year ago or so.
Well, last winter sometime. We lose track. You know, we have so many guests and so many listeners and so much going on.
It's
and,
just so busy.
You know, the media tour and all that good stuff. It's just
how we
crazy.
keep ourselves together is amazing. The junket we did the other night was intense.
That would be what?
China to Japan to Singapore to Germany to Denver and back in one day. I don't know how we did it. It was crazy.
I know how we did it. We didn't.
Like SpongeBob would say, imagination.
That's right.
Anyway, go ahead.
Terri, yes, she joined us last winter at some point here at the house and was a guest of ours. Fantastic woman. And we've been watching her on social media because she has been doing what we all dream of doing.
Well,
what
not
we all
everybody does.
fantasize that
I
would
think you
be
should
so
qualify
cool.
that. I think you should qualify that you and I dream about. Others might.
Well, I think a lot of people dream of, paring down their lives and hitting
Being
the
single?
road in a van and leaving their spouses and no, just kidding. But yeah, sort of we all dream of that adventure side of us. We all think we're more adventurous, but some people really do it.
So
Terri is one of those people that really did it.
Yeah, so we had her on because she had started a podcast about dating, and we thought it was kind of cool, and we thought we'd help her out. And then next thing you know, she decides to chuck it all because she can work remotely, buy a van, and she's been living out of it. And if you want to follow her Instagram page, it was hilarious when you said, I want to bring the camera up to show it.
That doesn't work, does it?
Such a goof.
I know.
It's Terri Luna, LUNA.the.van life.
Yes.
And follow along because she's kind of doing I don't want to say an autobiography. What do you want to call it? Like a
She's just
live journal.
She's chronicling
yeah.
her journey. And so she was gone for a few months and she found herself back in Milwaukee, and we swooped in and asked her to come back again. And we just
got some pictures of the van.
And so stay tuned. Here's our interview
here's
with
our
Terri.
interview with Terri.
And you can hear all about
Luna.
what life is like in the van. Hello, my dear.
Hi.
Hello. So
Terri
just arrived. What, you think I forgot her name?
No.
Terri
I
just
didn't say
arrived
that.
and we
I'm
had a
saying
glass
hi,
of
Terri.
wine at the counter, and we've been babbling for probably 45 minutes already, and now it's going to roll, and we're going to be like,
We have nothing to say.
What should we talk about?
So let's just dive into something real quick because I've got real serious questions for you.
Oh,
and
boy.
and Kath
Okay.
can go. So before I met Kathy, I
Are you
went
going to
on.
introduce our guest?
No, we already did the
Okay.
intro. Remember
All
the
right.
prelude that's going to be coming before this?
Okay. All right. Never mind.
Hi, Terri.
Hello,
Our
Jack.
guest, Terri.
Terri Luna.
Terri Luna.
Was our guest. I don't know which episode
Months
that
ago,
was.
episode 6.
It
We've
was
been
Making that
doing
up,
this
I don't
for
know.
But it was
so
like
many years.
towards the end of your first year.
It was.
It was. Yeah. So we
So,
want
so you've been traveling now for how many months in the van?
Well, I bought the van in June.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what is that? July, August?
So did you jump right away?
July,
Like how
August,
quickly
so
after
good
getting
2
the van?
months.
I
on
did
the
jump
road.
into it a little more quickly than I had originally intended to. I was going to practice in my dad's driveway for the summer
Oh my
because
God,
I didn't
it's
really have
hilarious.
any intentions about leaving Wisconsin in the summer. I love Wisconsin in the summer.
Yeah. No doubt.
But I had met a friend who was also has been a nomad and doing this living this lifestyle for a while, and he had ideas about places I could go with him, and I liked the idea of the mentorship that I could get out of it. So I did just dive right in more quickly than I had planned to.
If not just to learn about the practical aspects of being the nomad lifestyle and living out of your van. I could see
Yeah.
that there was like real curiosity and value to those like practical things.
There were. I mean, because I have really pretty much zero experience. I'm fairly
Were you a
handy
camper?
and-
Did you go camping? No.
I mean, I have like
Yeah.
once or twice in
Yeah,
my
but
life.
it wasn't like what you did all the time. You don't have all the equipment.
No,
and
and so this summer I did that, and I did backpacking for like 5 days straight, overnight, sleeping on a tent on the trail, and you know,
the
and I want to do a
Appalachian Trail.
lot on the Appalachian Trail, and I want to do a lot. That's a whole subculture that I didn't know about. I don't know if you guys know anything about that, but
Yeah. It's crazy. It's
yeah,
really cool.
it's super cool.
Yeah.
So it's been really awesome what I've been exposed to, and also probably prepared me better than if I would have just practiced in my dad's driveway all summer before I head
no
out.
doubt.
Like I did out and back like 3 times now, and each time I come back, I'm like, okay, we need to tweak this and do that and get this and get rid of this. I don't need it, and you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
I feel like I'm gonna be really, and no fear around little things that I've never been exposed to before. That even things like just setting up my own camp.
Yeah.
Arriving at a campground and setting up, or
Yeah.
figuring out how I'm going to dump my gray tank somewhere, or just there's so many things that it would have been bigger humps for me to get over if I would have just really done it all on my own. So I had a good 3 months of dive in training.
Yeah.
And now I'm ready. And
with
now
a tutor.
with
You
a
kinda had
good tutor.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was funny because there were certain things that we totally had opposite ideas
Approaches
about
to
how
stuff,
things
yeah.
should be done.
Yeah.
Typically, I would defer to him since he really knows what he's doing. But we had a lot of moments of we're a couple of 55-year-olds who have our own way of doing things and have for many years, and a little bit
Don't
of
tell me how to do it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Jack and I have some of those.
Yeah, how could you not,
Yeah.
right?
Right. You're supposed to.
And then for him and for me, we've both been on our own for a decent amount of time.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
so then you get even more kind of just sort of set in
Yeah.
how you like to do things.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I got to ask you, before I met Kathy, let me set this up. Before I met Kathy, I had sold everything in this house that I rehabbed. And when I say everything, I literally told people if there's a TV, if there's a spoon, except for my tools.
Yeah. He's buying tools now to work on the house, and he's like, used to
And
own
you sold
this.
that.
Yep, used to own it. Now I'm buying it
tough.
again. Used to own
a
it.
few of my tools I got rid of. I was in a place where I wanted to be away from everything. And so I was in North Carolina. My house was a week from closing. I had a garage sale that was kind of, I set it up like a Walmart store. It had an electronics section and a tools section, an outdoor garden section. And literally everything went, except for stuff that could fit in my then SUV. So it was my bikes, my guitars, my skis, clothes, and then any little thing I could fit. But if it didn't fit, it didn't go. So I got rid of everything. And then was at a friend's house in North Carolina. And he said, "Where are you going?" I have no clue yet. I had no place to rent. I didn't know what I was going to do. I figured I was going to Airbnb for a stretch. I didn't have a truck like you do, like a mobile home or something like that. So where I'm going with this is I picked a spot on the map and I went to Arizona. I went to Scottsdale. I rented an Airbnb, but I knew nobody there. Literally didn't know a soul in Arizona. And then from there, went to Colorado where I had a college friend, but again was by myself. And the point I'm trying to make is I was crazy intentional about spending time with myself because I was in a long, intense relationship that ended abruptly, wasn't ready for it. And what I want to ask you about, because I'm fascinated with that lifestyle. The reason the truck sits out there in front of you is because I'd love to have a camper sell. We talked about this. Sell
You guys,
all of
they're
this
so cool. There's so many cool ones to put
There
on.
are
and just
so many
live through
cool
that
ones.
and still be able, because what my job allows me to do, not Kathy's with real estate, but mine says I can do anything anywhere. Where I'm going with this, after telling you all that, I told Kathy I'm most interested in knowing how you feel being alone out there and being on the road and being away from all the things you know. Because I listened to one post you had where it was a long post and you were driving, you were talking about different things and experiences, and you got relatively emotional about it. Mm-hmm. So how do you feel being on the road by yourself? I know you had like a mentor for a while. You've also been by yourself. How do you
Free.
You do. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely don't have fear about much of anything.
Wow.
Perhaps to a fault.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I need to be reminded to take precautions and be safe.
Safety.
Yeah, because
Mother Nature, especially out in Mother Nature.
I'm not even thinking about that. I'm thinking
think
about
about
bad
men.
people.
You think about bad
okay.
people and
Yeah,
men in
yeah.
particular,
I
yeah.
was going to say, like, if you're going into a mountain, look at the weather. Make sure there's not a storm coming.
Oh, yeah,
like,
yeah.
I think
Okay,
about
I'm on
that
top
stuff.
of that. I'm on top of that. But it's really more a sense of freedom and like awe and elation and wonder.
Yeah.
And like, there's something about, I really feel I'm having a deeper connection with nature
Yeah.
in my older years.
Yeah.
There's something there. So I'm really I love being outside so much. I love getting up and walking out the door. Today I made my coffee outside even.
Yeah.
You know, I just want to be out there.
Yeah. Yes.
Do you
Smelling the
feel
smells,
nature.
feeling the feels.
Do you feel that, because when we last talked, which is probably 8 months ago, right? Let's guess that at least. There was focus on,
More than that.
okay,
But,
there was
yeah.
focus on, you were thinking about relationships and how to date and all those kinds of things. And it's kind of morphed away from that now. I think I'm going to go, it feels like
On
when I'm
this
watching
personal journey.
This personal journey. That's why I brought up my story. Because for me it was,
Yeah.
I need a break from thinking about, I didn't go on any dates at all until I moved back to Illinois.
Yeah.
I just got to get a break from all this. Do you feel that that's kind of what you metamorphed into? Like,
Yeah.
what motivated you to say, because last we were talking, you didn't mention once about, I'd love to get a van and tour the world and blah. What?
No,
Like, what was the thing that said, I'm
how
going to
did
do
that
this?
come about?
I always knew I was gonna make my way around after my youngest son graduated from high school, and he wound up deciding to stop going back and forth between his dad and me at the end of the first semester last year, and just stay at his dad's. He just likes the setup over there,
Okay.
yada yada.
Yeah.
So I found myself an empty nester a little sooner than I expected, and decided to just hit the road and go visit my parents down in Myrtle Beach,
Oh, that's
because
where
they
they are,
winter
okay.
down there in the winter.
Yeah.
And literally, as soon as I hit the road in my car, like by Kenosha, before Chicago,
Yeah.
Wow.
the feeling happened of like, oh my God, I need to do this.
Yeah.
And it just grew while I was gone. And so while I was down there, I started talking about it, and then just talking about it to them, because they camp, and talking about it to people that I was meeting, like at the gym and stuff.
Yeah.
And even on dating apps about exploring. It just kind of opened up I didn't know van life was a thing.
You did?
I didn't know hashtag van life
Oh,
was
God,
such
yeah.
a culture.
Oh,
I
yeah.
had no idea.
I think especially
Oh,
during
yeah.
COVID, when people could do that,
Yeah.
it was, and there's also, hashtag the downside of van life.
Oh my
that
gosh, I've
has
seen some
taken
pretty
over.
funny,
Yes,
pretty
yes.
funny videos
Yeah.
about that. For me, it's not. I mean, some of it's a little bit financial because, I thought I had this idea in my head that once I was empty nest, I would start looking at a few of the different spots that I'm interested in moving to, because I don't want to winter
remember
here.
you went to Portugal?
I went to Portugal. I was thinking maybe
Yeah.
I would do the overseas thing.
Yeah.
And then I thought I would do like a couple, 3 months, 2-3 months in different spots for the next few winters, Airbnb,
Yeah.
and like submerse myself in an area off of one of the lists of the best places to live / best places to retire.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I know
That's
there's certain
so
things
funny.
that I know, like I know I want a college town. I know I want it to be,
That's what
there's
you would say.
and have like good
Same thing.
walkability and
Yeah.
good, like I know certain things that I want, right? And so, and have like an artsy vibe and maybe
Yes.
a hippie vibe or
Yeah.
a hipster vibe, whatever. So, but I think that's that plan would be pretty freaking expensive. And
Yeah.
so then I came up with the idea of how about if I do it in a van and Airbnb my own place out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I can, I mean, there's some holes in that because when you camp, you're not necessarily going to be in the spot where you could, like an Airbnb,
Yeah.
you know? So I think I have to play around with, well, there's ways to camp where you can be more in the city, actually.
Boondocking.
There's boondocking, and then there's this app called Hip Camp. And it's not like big campsites, but it's like people have land and they say you can camp here,
Yep.
or they have like
That's
have a
what my-
lot in a
My
subdivision.
daughter just
Yeah.
did that. So when Key
Yeah.
went
Who
camping,
just did it?
Key.
Oh, Key,
When they
yeah.
went camping, it was someone's property in Oregon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you
Yeah.
thought about totally change the topic when you say college town and hip stuff? Have you ever been to Eugene, Oregon at all, or no? University of Oregon is there. Have you been
No,
there?
but I've never been to Oregon at all. It's definitely on my list. Bend is what I really am
Send
curious
that
about.
big red van
Bend
towards
is,
Oregon.
So you're gonna laugh when you just
Gorgeous.
said when you just said Bend. 15 years ago, so I was still married. The kids were relatively youngish. They were just starting high school. My oldest was, at least. And there was a website called findyourspot.com. Doesn't exist anymore. But you would answer upwards of 70 questions and rank all these things from politics to sports.
There's probably something like it out there now.
I've been searching. I haven't found it.
Oh, really?
Yep. And what it did is it said, based upon your interests and all these other kinds of things, like, do you want to be near a big city? Do you want a college town? Do you want seasons? You know, all that kind of, like, humid or dry. Bend came up as my number one place to live. So I jumped on a plane before Bend was what it is today. So Bend was still this
Is
little...
this before Alex went to school there?
before Alex went to college. So I jumped on a plane, went to Bend, and went, oh my God, I got to move here. And my ex-wife at the time said, we're not going anywhere. The kids are this age. And I had this attitude of, fuck it, they'll figure it out. Let's go have an adventure someplace else. Highly recommend you go see Bend.
Yeah.
Full 4 seasons, really cool town, very crowded now.
Yeah.
But you mentioned that you want a college town
Yeah.
and that hippie vibe. If
Yeah.
you get a chance, make your way out west. It'll take you 4 or 5 days. But drive to Eugene, Oregon, and give it a shot because it is a cool college town. My daughter was just over.
Is there water?
45 minutes from the ocean.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
Only
doable.
45 minutes?
it's maybe 30. Yeah.
Lakes.
I've never been to Bend.
There's some lakes there for sure. Yeah, but they've got a beautiful river. The Willamette River cuts through, and it's a slow-moving river. It's gorgeous. Highly, highly recommend if you want to go see a hippie town, go there.
Have you guys been to Asheville?
Asheville's amazing.
I love it.
Yeah.
We
That's
love
where I'm
Asheville.
headed. That's where I'm headed.
Next,
Oh, the Blue Ridge
Yeah,
Mountains.
I mean, I have to go. I have a couple of stops along the way. I have a
are you
CrossFit
going through
competition.
Tennessee at all through there? You're
Are you going
Well,
through
I
the
don't
Blue
know.
Ridge
I think-
Mountains?
I don't know.
Stop
the
at
Blue
the-
I don't have
Ridge
it mapped out
Mountain
yet.
Parkway is a
It's gorgeous.
Must.
Stop it. Are you
I
going to do it in the fall?
I
You know
cried.
what? I think I might have done that from Asheville north coming back because I went through Knox. Would you go if you went from Asheville to Knoxville? Would you go through that?
Go to
'Cause
Chattanooga.
possibly.
That was like when I did that drive coming back home from Myrtle Beach
yeah.
because I stopped in Nashville for a few days and then came back this way. That drive was like angels were singing, the clouds parted,
Epically
like
gorgeous.
where like this was
yeah,
beautiful.
Like on both
Yeah.
that side of the road and this side of the road. It was
Like,
just
can
epically
somebody else
gorgeous.
drive so I
cried.
can watch
Yeah.
out the
I-
window?
Ah,
it's-
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
can go to University of Tennessee, it's a beautiful campus area too. Gorgeous.
Really?
Stuck in a mountain. Yeah, I think it's in Knoxville or Chattanooga, one of the two. I can't remember. But
On
go
my
there.
last camping trip, we went to Fayetteville.
Yep, Arkansas.
That's
never
kind
been.
of a
Yeah,
cool town
really cool.
too.
Yeah. I mean, it's Arkansas, so it's okay.
still Arkansas,
Yeah, there's
yeah.
parts of it where it's cool, and then you're like, all right, that was fun. Let's go to the next
Well,
one.
we actually camped in Bentonville.
Oh yeah, Bentonville is where that one of the
That
HGTV
museum.
shows is
Oh.
from.
Oh, really?
One of the families is from Bentonville, Arkansas. I can't.
I mean, the
remember.
Walmart family, the
Yeah.
Waltons are from there.
Yep.
So all their Walmarts are the nicest Walmarts you've ever seen.
Yeah.
And they let you camp in the parking lot.
Yeah.
They let you stay overnight.
you know
in the
that?
Walmart
Yeah, I
parking
did know
lots,
that,
Yeah.
but I haven't done it yet.
Haven't done it yet.
Because there's this app called Harvest Hosts. Have you heard of this?
Is that where you go to someone's house and
Oh,
get property?
it
you
can be,
harvest? Do you
or-
work?
No,
Okay.
that would be funny, or not funny, kind of cool actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what it is
Like you kind of
is
earn your keep.
well. So how
by-
this one works is it's businesses or people, but so museums, breweries, wineries, and they'll let you park for a night on their property and then say, like encourage you to come in and buy some wine or buy some beer or come through the museum. And then there's also people, it's partnered with another app called Boondockers Welcome. And that's where other RVers will let you park in their driveway or whatever. I stayed at a place on my way back from there in Illinois that was in this it was a beautiful meadow. There, in that night, there was a full moon. There were deer in the middle of the night. Actually, it kind of scared me. I saw the shadow out. She woke up and she was crying. I had the doors open because it was this big safe spot.
Yes.
And there was like a deer feeding outside in the moonlight.
Wow.
But it was like this older couple who had 3 ginormous RVs of their own, and they built this beautiful home and beautiful building to keep their RVs in, and they have 6 kids, and they need to put them up when they come to visit, and so they need to be able to like hook up the RVs out in the yard and set it up, and when they're not there, it's open for people to come and just
stay.
You know what
for free.
pops in my mind as you say that is how fucking trusting are people. Like, I'm just listening to you tell this story. I'm going, oh man, if I had a house, I would never let anyone stay on my property. Like, how do you find it? We're going to do this, babe.
So
the
app is like Airbnb.
So it rates them. And
so
ranks
you
them.
get to read reviews and they get ratings and you know what I mean? So
do you feel as you're out there that you're learning to read what is a trustworthy, like you met a dude that you toured with, right? Was it out there that you met him here or here?
No,
here.
I met him when I was in Myrtle
left.
Beach on Bumble.
Right. Okay.
Bumble.
So, you met some guy who said, "Hey, let's go traveling for a while," and he was a tour guide of sorts, right? Right. So, have you? I just think I am instinctively less trustworthy of people. You're far more trustworthy than I am. Like when we go camping, even to a populated site in Wisconsin where there's regulations and rangers, I'm still looking around going, all right, who's going to take our shit? And I'm locking up my bikes. Like, have you gained a radar for this stuff?
That's something to look at. I just had this discussion. That's something to look at, like where that comes from for you. You know, when I was married, my ex-husband would always tell me I was too trusting. And we said, like, I am the person who will trust you until you give me a reason not to. And he is the person who won't trust you until you give him a reason to
trust
you. And we were the opposite that way.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't change how I am. I'm still that way. I'm still like, you know, until you fuck up, I trust you.
Right.
I'm right in the middle to describe it. So it's not as though I'm like, fuck that guy, what are they doing? I know I'm coming off that way. It's more... I'm very watchful and guarded at first. Where Kathy's like, I think we can trust these people. I'm like, okay. And I'm doing one of those like backup look arounds, trying to see what they're doing.
Like, come on in.
Well, did you listen to that story that I told on the FaceTime Live where my
About
towel
your
got stolen?
Yes.
So,
that's the one.
Yeah.
Okay. So can I just comment on that?
Yeah.
I would have.
Been like me?
No, I would have knocked on the door and said, you want to tell me why you took my towel? Right? I would have gone right up to him and go, hey, if we're going to do this camping thing, let's be cool to one another, dude. Like, I would have approached it, and I realized in listening to you process it, because you were processing out loud, right?
Yeah.
As you're processing, you're like, well, maybe it was a mistake, or maybe that is a similar towel. And as you're talking, I'm like, God damn it, Terry. Okay, those are good points.
Well, it wasn't me thinking that.
It was
that
him.
was Jeff. Yeah. And it was funny because I've told that story to several people since. And the majority of them
Can you retell that story for
related
everyone?
to me.
Do you mind telling that story?
Tell the story.
Okay, so...
I mean, unless you want us to send people to your site. I figured it'd be a cool story to tell. Yeah.
So what happened was, you know, I had a nice to me, new to me towel hanging on a clothesline on my campsite overnight. And in the morning it was gone. And beneath it was a big pair of shorts and underwear that were wet. And the towel was gone. And I was disappointed. I was actually pissed because even though it was only a $15 towel, I had spent too much time at Marshall's deciding on that towel.
Yes.
And I really liked it, and I was happy that I had it and whatever. It made me happy to look at it hanging out on the clothesline.
At a deep level, though, did you feel...
I felt violated.
That's the word I hoped you were going to use, because I was listening to it. I'm like, I am so violated.
I was pissed. Like, come on, man. We're all on a campsite.
Yeah,
like, you just
I'm
take somebody else's
trusting
towel,
people.
motherfucker. I'm sorry, can I do that?
Yep.
Oh, for
Fuck
sure.
yeah.
Yeah, so
Can you swear?
Yeah.
That's great.
And then, there were people next to us, and we could hear them chattering in the morning, and they were a little like at each other, a little whatever,
little bickering.
Yeah. And when they pulled away, they all left. And when their car pulled away, I could see my towel on their picnic table.
So they at least left it, right?
Well, they weren't gone. They didn't pack up camp.
Forgot
They just
that part.
left for the day.
They just left to go like swim by the lake or something.
And you saw your towel.
And I saw it, and I was
towel in
like,
question.
there's my towel. And I said,
They're not even trying to hide it.
Yeah,
They
and
took
that
my
made
towel,
me mad.
and
That
they're
made
just
me
laying it
feel
out
like
there.
they were taunting me or
They know
something.
I'm here, and they're not even returning it.
See?
Like all these things.
That's all
could
that
go.
went through my mind, right?
Can I just press pause real quick?
Yeah.
I want you to know as I'm reliving this story all over again because I'm listening to it, and all that went through my mind was, man, I feel violated. I feel so offended and violated. And I don't know if I could live if that's the community, right? Where you just kind of share each other's stuff, right? And then there's a part of me that emotionally gets it
I
going,
mean,
well,
I
wait a
guess
minute,
if I
what's...
signed up for it that way, I would have been okay. But
But you didn't feel you signed up for it that way. Hey, this is my
Yeah.
shit. I take care of my stuff
Yeah.
differently than maybe you do.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
But when you're in that environment, it could be that's the way.
Yeah.
Right? I
Yeah.
love
And
this.
so
Keep
my
going, yeah.
friend was like, okay, probably 99.9% chance that is your towel. I mean, there's a teeny tiny chance that they also had the same towel.
They also went to Marshall's from
Right.
the exact same tile.
He's like, I know,
towel,
it's probably
but
your towel. But just
plus
before
the
you
underwear and
do
shorts
anything,
The
think-
underwear and shorts left behind seemed to fit that
yeah,
derriere
it looks
that
like
I
it's
saw
his.
right over
we
there.
couldn't tell. We actually thought they were men's shorts, but they turned out to be women's.
Okay.
So, he just said, I'm just saying, think about it because this could wind up being confrontational. Like if you're thinking you want to just go grab it, this could wind up confrontational. And since I'm here too, that means I'm going to be involved. So I would just want you to really think this through. What if
Pause.
they
Hit
come
the
back?
pause button on
take
that
a deep
train of
breath.
thought for a
Think
minute.
about this. What
Yeah.
if they come back and they say, hey, we had this pink flamingo towel on our table and it's gone now. Did you happen to see it? What would you
Yeah.
say?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, I would have to lie or I would have to say, no, I took it off your table because it was mine. Like, and he's
Yeah.
like, and you don't, and then what happens with how they might react?
Yeah.
Are you prepared for that? Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay. And first, I didn't even want to hear it because I was like seeing red. I was like, that's my towel. I want my towel. I'm just going to go get my towel.
Yeah.
And
you were a little pissed at him for suggesting.
I really had to breathe through, like listening to him talk me through
like,
this.
that's my fucking towel.
Like, know it. Come on.
Are you comfortable with confrontation? Because I'm not trying to turn this into me. I swear to God, we had a confrontational moment at a concert, and I was not afraid. And I'm not saying you were afraid or anything. I don't mean it that way. I'm very comfortable just right away going, hey, I'm just curious. Did you do this?
Yeah, no, I'm not.
And then when they said yes, I'm like, did you do it on purpose? So you intended to do that. How come? Right? I even said, how come?
We talked about it on one of our
I went, how come you
podcasts.
felt that was okay?
Yeah.
I said that to the
I'm
guy.
not comfortable with that kind of confrontation.
All right.
Are you, Kathy?
Not at first. No, not like me.
In the concert reference, though, I did address her and say, hey, did you...
There was the second person, yeah.
Did you do this? And, and she said, yeah, I sure did. And I was like...
so she was intentionally confrontational.
So Kathy said, so this was intentional.
I said, that's really unfortunate.
Yep.
Yeah. But
So,
anyway.
because it leads to the reason I'm asking it.
Well, and that's what he got me thinking was if they were going to be those kind of people, did I want to deal with that? Which I wouldn't have wanted to deal
all
with.
over a towel.
All over. He brought that up too. What it cost you? $15. We can go to Marshall's. We can go
and
get
so
you another one.
The issue is, this is where I get torn. Because, well, is it a towel or is it stealing? Right? Or because I'm in this environment of being in a van life now, we share stuff, right? Where, you know what I'm getting at?
But it's not just about that. It's about what you kind of learned from that moment by hitting that pause button. That's the continue with your story because it goes to a really beautiful place.
Yeah, because I think I want the context of would you have been comfortable asking it, and so because you weren't, it gave you time to pause.
Yes.
Because I would have been right away confrontational. Who knows what could have happened, right?
Yeah,
So,
and I wouldn't have been right away confrontational.
Yeah.
So I thought about it for a minute and I was like, I'm fucking getting my towel. And I did. So I went over there and I grabbed it and I got in the car with him because we were headed somewhere. And I was like, maybe I'm not comfortable with getting the towel. Like I was holding it in my hands and I was like, then I started running different scenarios through my mind and I was like, oh man, it is just a $15 towel. Like what if, because I was really imagining that they would be like
popping your tires.
Doing
Anything,
something. Yeah.
something. Yep.
And it's just a damn towel, you know? So I decided to put it back. So I did. I put it back. Mm-hmm. And then moments later, they pulled in. Mm-hmm. And we decided that I would take the pants over there, the shorts, and just say, hey.
By any chance, are these yours?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because they were laying on the ground underneath where I had a towel on the line. Mm-hmm. And I didn't even say anything. I just walked over with the towel, and she got this look on her face like, oh,
idiot.
There's my there are those shorts. It wasn't hers,
There are
but
those
there
clothes
are those
that
shorts.
I was wearing and then I wasn't.
And then she was like, "Is that your towel? We didn't know where it came from." And then she explained the whole story and that her. Do you want to hear this part?
Yeah.
So that it was her daughter's shorts and underwear, and her daughter had a miscarriage not all that long ago and was just in a terrible place.
Right.
She's a nurse and she's not a partier, but she just needed to let off steam last night, and so she drank a bunch and then she went swimming and then she came back and she was wet and she needed a towel and she was kind of lost and she just did what she did, and in the morning she was like, I don't know where my stuff is and I don't know whose towel this is and whatever. And so the part that was so cool about all of it for me was that because I got to pause, I didn't have to care. Like I said to Jeff afterwards, see, there wouldn't have been confrontation.
Yeah.
I was right about, there wouldn't have been any. I
right
wouldn't have
about
had
part
to
of
deal
it.
with that. That would have never happened probably. Mm-hmm. And he pointed out, but what would you have carried away from the whole thing if you didn't get to hear what was on, like you felt violated. Do you still feel violated? Mm-hmm. Do you still feel like they were taunting you by leaving the towel on the table?
Mm-hmm. You felt some of those things. Huh?
I did.
Yeah.
And I didn't have to because I took a deep breath and waited and.
Yeah.
So
do you use that now when you're on the road by yourself? Do you try to take the approach of, I'm not saying your guard is down completely, because you mentioned earlier that you are, I think before we started the podcast, that you are thinking about what the road looks like. But has this changed you a little bit, even more so, where you're more or less kind of saying people's intentions are likely good?
Well, I think I have always come from that. I did some review, and where I was going, when I brought this up in the first place, I wanted to tell you that it's interesting that the different feedback I've gotten from telling people the story. Like one of my friends said, why do you think you immediately went to they were messing with you? Like, why didn't you originally think, oh, somebody probably just got drunk and lost?
What do you need to look at within yourself, is what you're saying.
But isn't that
what
really
is that
it, right?
indicating?
It's how you react to circumstances. It's the only thing you can control.
Yeah, like why did that make you feel the way it made you feel? And so I was able to kind of process that and look at like kind of where I am at in life and what I'm doing and what was causing that. There was some other stuff that was playing into that because I would say that's not my normal MO. My normal MO is to give most people I think everybody's
the
like we talked about
doubt.
earlier. I think everybody's good-hearted for the most part. I'm not running through the world thinking people are out to get me. Yeah. So that wasn't my norm. Yeah. But I'm just kind of in this space of, I think getting the van and it was a big purchase, and then accumulating all the things to put in it had me a little attached to things
And protective of it, because this is all you have, right?
And
you don't have a big house where you have all these knickknacks. You have a towel, right? And it takes on a bigger significance, right?
Yeah. So
wow.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool.
That's a really, really good story, and it ended up completely differently than what you thought. And that's a really fascinating exercise, to be introspective and, yes, encouraging you to take that benefit, give everybody that benefit of a doubt. Taking the deep breath, hitting the pause button and saying, this might not be as it appears. So let me allow the space for that.
It's pretty it's pretty crazy how quickly and easily we can assign a narrative.
we start telling a
or
story.
or a
Right.
meaning to something
Yeah.
that's probably not true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Like most likely not true.
Right.
A
Yeah.
lot of the time.
Yeah. I have a theory on that because we are all trying to compartmentalize things. We are all trying to understand our world and the people and the things that happen. And so we try to make sense of it and we create a story where it fits in the box of our story. And that's not always true. We sometimes forget that. We're like, well, no, this happened because of that. It's so clear. Well, no, that's just the story you made up because your brain, as human beings, we are trying to understand the what, the why, and the how, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I think we just make shit up sometimes.
Wouldn't it
I think
suck?
we do it a lot.
Wouldn't it suck if they got back in the van and they're like, we fucking told her you had a miscarriage, dumbass. I wiped my ass with that fucking towel.
We did make some
miscarriage.
jokes about where that towel had been
Right,
and
that
how it needed
dumbass
to go
left
in
the
the
towel
laundry.
out. She fell for the story. Nice one, dude. Good thing they didn't have a gun.
Yeah.
That's awful. That's not it.
I just think
way.
it's I am fascinated with the life that you're pursuing right now, and it could last a long time. It could be
could.
temporary, right? It could be whatever.
It could. My
you don't have
friend
a
keeps
clock on
teasing
it,
me
do
that
you?
he thinks I'm not even going to get out of Wisconsin.
Oh,
I'm like, come
again?
on. Jeff,
Yeah.
the guy that was my mentor about
Yeah.
all of
Yeah.
this summer, he keeps teasing me that he doesn't even think I'm going to get out of Wisconsin.
That's so
I don't
funny.
think he really believes that, but sometimes I wonder if he does.
Maybe
Well,
he's
even
just
if-
challenging.
Does it matter?
I think he is,
But I mean,
yeah.
does it matter? If,
Yeah.
if
No,
you,
it doesn't.
If 3 months from now, you're
Oh,
like,
if
yeah,
I don't?
Yeah, van was fun. I'm gonna sell it. Like, does it matter? It doesn't really matter, right?
No. I would have regretted if I didn't do it.
Yes.
Once I got the idea,
Right.
Like I definitely, and I think I said this. Well, I said this in a recent post about how, in the beginning, I thought this was about my lifelong wanderlust.
Yeah.
But I
Yes.
realize now that it's about a lot more. It's really like a self journey.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's time to get to know myself better.
When I did my
know?
sojourn to Arizona and Colorado, it's funny because there were two camps, literally reactive camps to what I was doing. One was, oh my God, he's lost it. He's 54 years old. He's off the deep end. He's by himself. His kids, they almost classified it as a midlife crisis without chasing women in a car.
Yeah.
Right? And then there was another set of camp, the whole other camp that went, fucking do it.
Yeah.
Go enjoy yourself.
I'm
'Cause I
sure
could.
that the same thing is going on amongst the people that know
Yeah.
me. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not hearing.
What is she doing?
I'm not hearing the "what is she doing" part, but I'm sure there are people that are doing that.
Yeah,
you know?
I heard it. Are
My
you
guess,
okay?
my guess is more people are watching your journey and going, "Fuck, that's cool. I wish I could do that." God,
Yeah.
God love her. I mean,
I am
you
hearing
know,
a lot of that.
Yeah.
I really am. People are like, "Man, I would love to do that."
Yeah,
You know? And
yeah.
Actually, it's funny when I got my first tattoo. There were so many people who said, "I've always wanted a tattoo, but never figured it out," and that was part of what made me just do it.
Yes,
Because
yes.
I heard so many people say, "I've always wanted to, but
and you
but
don't
just
want to
never-"
live in regret.
No, just
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah,
Yeah. So one of the things I also realized when I decided to do this was that, you know, getting married when I did and having kids, which I wouldn't change, but and then staying here in Wisconsin was. My ex-husband was the one who wrote that story, and I just jumped on board for it.
Right.
My story, if I would have written it myself, would have gone differently.
Yeah.
And it would have gone more like how it's going to go now.
Yes.
So now I'm getting
Well,
to like
there
write
you
my
go.
own story.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Cheers to that.
Yeah.
Well, cheers to that.
I'm so excited.
So, can I ask like a practical question? How do you manage your work with the travel and being on the road?
I mean, right now my work is it's only like 30 hours a week, and as long as I've got Wi-Fi,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can do it.
Yeah.
So
That's
I don't
brilliant.
know how, I paid attention to the internet connectivity stuff. Like I might need
Yes.
Starlink or
Yeah.
I might need Wii Boost or something like that.
Yeah.
But so far, I've been able to just use my phone as a hotspot.
Yep.
And work at a campground.
Yeah.
Some
Brilliant.
campgrounds have Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And if I wind up struggling with Wi-Fi, I just bought an e-bike, which is going to be, you know how I named the van Cliff? Now I got to name my bike. And I think I'm going to name the bike Gigi for grocery getter, because that's what she's going to be.
I love it.
And so if I can just hop on her and go to a coffee shop and work,
Yeah.
I'm just going to figure it out.
Yeah,
I'm
you'll
trying
figure
not
it
to
out.
worry too. I
Yeah.
have obsessed about a lot of little things, trying to make everything as comfortable
Yeah.
and convenient as I can
Well, sure. Yeah.
in the space of my
Yes.
van, because in a tiny little space like that, you don't want to be whatever.
You
Where's
don't
my
want chaos. You want things to be
It has to
as
be-
organized as possible, because you have very limited options. So trying to, as much as you can, controlling that environment and making sure everything you need is there and it's neat and clean and in its place and organized.
yeah, that has
That
to be
gives you
for me so that I
calm.
can
Yeah.
So you can function.
stay sane.
Yeah.
But then the rest of kind of the where and the want and the how of how things are going to work, I'm really open to just I'll tackle it when it comes, because
Yeah.
I mean, these days, you can figure out how to do everything on YouTube.
Yeah.
You know, I'm even,
No
I
doubt.
even thought, oh, maybe I should have my dad and I should have my dad run through changing the tire on if I get a flat. And then I'm like, I can just YouTube that.
it.
You know? So,
Which is brilliant, that's...
I suppose unless I'm in the mountains where I can't get reception and I haven't got
well, maybe download that video so it's on,
save
it
so
there. Save it.
save it so it's available to you. Maybe do
Yeah.
that. Make
Right.
sure the spare is filled with air. But no, I think it's brilliant, and for people that don't know, you are a health and wellness and fitness coach.
Mm-hmm.
Do I have that right?
Yeah, nutrition coach, which
Nutrition
really
coach, yep.
encompasses health and wellness and mindset and how you think and how you look at things and how your relationship with yourself is
Yeah.
really what it boils down to, honestly.
Well, and I go specifically to that because as you're on this personal journey, I imagine you are bringing more into certainly your dialogue and repertoire, if you will, as you talk to your clients, how to tap into a new area that you're tapping into yourself, that you maybe bring to your clients to challenge themselves to understand why they're making the choices they are in that health and wellness and nutrition arena.
I definitely
make sense?
think that my own personal self-exploration has upped my game with my coaching of people.
Yeah.
Being able to look at myself and understand how I operate
Yeah.
and the process that it's taken to be able to see myself the way I can see myself now, which there's still a lot more work to do there, but it helps me help other women do that. And it's usually mostly women that I'm coaching,
Yeah.
but that's where the work has to be done when people are looking into fixing nutrition and strength training kind of stuff. It's just, it's all so much here.
Oh, it's all there.
That's my
isn't it?
favorite TV show used to be
It's
The
all
Biggest
in the head.
Loser. Yeah, my favorite TV show used to be The Biggest Loser. Do you remember that one, right? With I forget what the
I
chick
did have fun
Bob,
watching that.
because it wasn't
It's a
about
little-
weight loss.
It was so extreme though.
It was. What I loved most about it, it was really about the emotional part and how food connects to people with that. And then once they lost all that weight, and again, it wasn't the pounds, it was how they got to a place mentally.
Yeah.
I find that kind of stuff fascinating.
Did you know that every single one of those people,
Put the weight back on?
Every single one?
every single
Really?
one put typically more? Because of how extreme it was, because of what they did was not sustainable.
No.
Did they probably learn some things about themselves and prove some things to themselves that they didn't realize they were capable of and things like that? Those were good. But the way they went about it, they
Well, and
didn't.
having the
it
camera-
also can really mess people
Yeah.
up
Yeah.
to go that extreme and go that
Yeah.
route.
And then to have it recorded for a television show, that puts a level of pressure on these people to not fail. That
is not there when you're trying to do that in real life. Not so much, really. Not like that.
No, not like that.
No, it takes
Not
incredible
like that.
self-discipline to change something like that.
But I think this is
it's an ongoing journey.
For sure.
Isn't it though? I mean, and when it will never end. How could it end? Let's
It does
hope that
end.
we all well I don't know, then maybe there's the afterlife, yeah. And you've taken all
Oh my
you've
gosh,
learned.
I just
Unbelievable.
watched. Have you guys seen Wayne Dyer's The Shift?
No.
It's so
What's it on?
What's it about?
Netflix?
You know what?
Prime?
I think YouTube. Somebody put
YouTube TV?
on my Facebook post where I just talked about everything I'm going through. Somebody said, "Oh, you got to watch this. This is right in line."
Okay.
With. And so they posted a link to it. I think it's through Facebook somehow.
Okay.
I can send it to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just about how our lives, the things that are important to us in the earlier stages of life. He calls it in the morning. Are so
Morning
not
as in
really
MORN, morning as
the
in
early
AM.
part of the
Okay,
day.
got it. Yep.
Those things don't wind up being
For sure.
true or as important to everything shifts at some point.
Yeah.
And so he talks about like the five things that are most important to women and the 5 things that are most important to men in that earlier stage, and then after you make the shift. And he said usually the shift is brought on by oftentimes something powerfully positive, like
Really?
like a moment with nature or I don't know, something along the way in life that makes you start to realize that all these things that you thought were so important are less important. And then there's this whole new set of 5 things that are important for women, and they're different for women and for men.
Yeah.
And I listened to it last night when I was going to bed, and it kept me awake. And then I listened to it again. I got so fired. You guys got to watch it.
Hands down.
Yeah,
And
for
it
sure.
makes me think, I kind of globbed onto that, what you said, that the shift in people really happens when something positive happens, which makes sense to me because we know for a fact that our positive energy draws other positive things. It truly is magnetic, that when you put out there this energy wave, which is a measurable thing, that
Frequency.
positivity, yes, the frequency of that happiness, that joy, that feeling. It's not surprising that those great things happen. That's awesome.
I felt
it.
as
I
I
feel
was
like we
watching
need to
that.
have a big bong right now.
We have plenty of
Just
gummies
a bunch of
in the
potato
cabinet
chips and a
over there.
bong.
But anyway,
As I was watching that, I was like, I had my own shift. I don't actually know exactly what was the catalyst for it, but the shift happened, and that facilitated where I'm headed now.
which tell us now that that's a good lead in. What's next? When is it? When are you taking off again on the road?
I'm leaving Sunday. I'm gonna go
this Sunday.
Yeah, I'm gonna go visit my best friend for a few days. It's my Sunday's my birthday, my
Yay.
55th birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
And so I'm gonna see her for a few days, and then I'm going to Fort Wayne, Indiana. I've never
Nice.
been there, and it's not a place I would choose because on this van life thing.
Gotta
but,
see it.
But have you been there?
I sure have.
Really?
Yeah, you'll be there for about an hour.
No, I have to stay for a whole week
Yeah,
because
have fun with
I
that.
am in
I'm
a.
just kidding.
I'm
Your
in-
friend's gonna listen to this now.
I qualified for this CrossFit competition.
Oh, cool.
Congratulations.
Yeah, and it's a 3-day event
In Fort Wayne.
in Fort Wayne
That's
at
incredible.
the Coliseum in Fort Wayne.
And your friend just happens to live there.
No, I have
Oh, I thought you
nobody's
were going to
there.
see your friend.
Oh, okay.
No,
Sorry.
she's in Rockford.
Oh, okay.
So
You're
first
going
I'm
to
going
go
to
west
Rockford.
first, then east.
I'm going to
Yep.
Fort Wayne for a week.
Okay.
And then from there, I'm going to Virginia to the Overlander Expo. Have you guys heard of this?
No.
How are you?
I haven't.
By the way, how are you getting your workouts in for CrossFit?
Oh, she's going to CrossFit gyms through
Yeah.
wherever she lands.
Oh.
She
You know,
at
finds
one
a
point in
CrossFit
my-
I
gym.
didn't know. How did I miss that on your post?
I don't
Did you talk about
know.
that?
Yeah, I
You
usually
do?
on my other Instagram, I usually post when I'm doing workouts and stuff. But
yeah, so I just thought that was like old. I didn't realize that's what you're doing while you're on the road. So you find a gym, get your workout in. Okay, I'm an idiot. All right, go.
And
Sorry.
at one point in my life, I said if I could figure out a way to travel and drop in on CrossFit gyms all over the country and make money. That part I haven't figured out yet, but I am doing the travel and drop into CrossFit
I have
gyms.
so many ideas for you on
Okay,
that.
let's write those down.
No, I'm being serious. Do you have a TikTok account? Because you'll gain traction.
Oh, well, I do. I don't know how to use it, but I have one.
Oh my God. Once a week, just post, I'm heading to this destination. I'm a CrossFit trainer. I'm doing these things. I'm doing a pop-up class at such and such. So find where you're going. See if there's a space. Maybe it's outdoors because it's warm enough.
I don't want to do classes. I don't want to coach the class.
What do you want to do? You just want to participate in it?
I gotta figure out how to make money by dropping in and like making friends who maybe want to work with me as their nutrition coach or
Oh, but that's what I'm
something
getting
like
at. So
that.
do you want to say I'm doing a pop-up thing where I'll talk about health? Like I'm doing a
like
speakers
that. Okay,
thing.
right.
We'll do a workout together and I'll talk about what I do. But then I'm just going around the country doing this stuff because I believe in this so much. I'm spreading the word via my van.
Do you think I should get the van wrapped with something that says
100%.
something about?
I
That's
do.
kind of a really good idea.
I do. I think if you drove around and
Now
posted
the
and said,
fear-based people would say you can't let everybody know where you're going all the time because the stalkers are going to come and find you.
so there's this guy, and I recognize it's a guy, but it's a guy in his, he's got to be in his 60s or 70s. You Can Outdoors or something like that. When we're done here, I'll send you the link to this.
I think I've seen that before.
He's just an older man walking. And he's,
I follow him because Jeff told me about him actually.
yeah, because he says things like, know your worth, right? He has these, there's a saying he calls it every single time. He just got a book published on all his little phrases.
Yeah.
But he did the Appalachian Trail.
Yeah.
And he was telling everyone where he was. And people said the same thing. Be careful. Someone's going to get you. And everyone said, bullshit. This is really cool. We met up with whatever. Let's call him Bill.
That's how I feel, but it's like because you're a woman or whatever. I don't have
I think
that
there's-
fear. I don't have those fears. But other people are like, oh, don't tell people where you're going before you go. Tell them you were there so they know you were. Like if you want to.
I don't know. I think there's something cool about saying, hey, I had a really good time in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Did this training. Thanks to
Maybe
all
I
the
just
people
like
that
make
showed
sure
up.
I'm showing
Girl,
up.
you can
You know, here's what I
kick
feel.
their ass.
No, here's what I
Anybody
feel.
comes
I really
after
mean
you.
it. If someone is an asshole and they want to get you, they're going to find a way to get you anyway. So you can live your life in fear, or you can live your life. That to me, right away, say all the time. You can live in
Yeah.
lack, or you can live in abundance. And I feel that because you've got a good dynamic personality, and it's easy to watch those videos that you do, it's cool to say, I'm on my road right now. I'm going to be doing a pop-up. We're going to be talking about wellness, fitness, health. Like these are the 5 things we're going to talk about. Love to see anyone who comes up there. You can even, I'm blowing things out off the top of my head. We're just going to take donations for it. I'd love to see if you show up, if it turns into something great. What do you lose from it? You're getting a workout in. You get to talk to people. You can network a little bit.
Yeah.
Right? If a couple people turn into a client where you say, hey, if you become a client, you can join us on the road because I do some remote classes. Right? You know what I'm getting at? Where they're going to pay you for something like that. And so now you're on the road in the middle of the woods doing an ab workout. I don't know. You know what I'm getting at? If these are the things you like, or doing coaching or nutrition.
I need to open up my.
hang
it's
out with
funny
me.
because right before this, I was talking with somebody else who coaches mostly women on starting businesses, and she's like, Terri, if you don't find a way to monetize what you're about to do, you're missing out on a really good opportunity because I think people would be all about that.
All right,
Well,
so
maybe
okay,
that's
sorry. No, you go.
maybe this is what this next leg of your journey is, because your first leg was just a couple of months where you were like, how do I work the crapper? You know, how do I plug in my phone and not
Poop and crank. Poop and crank.
poop and
spin.
We
Poop
now
and spin.
know how to poop and crank, but or just drain my battery, or how to not let the bugs in, and how do I find
Laundromats, all
like
that,
you
yep.
were just really consumed with logistics too,
And getting used
so
to it,
now
yeah.
that you have some of that is becoming second nature, the focus can shift to how to monetize this, how to provide value to your clients, find potential clients, and tie that into what your journey is. I think that's great. And Mr. Marketing here will have some ideas for you.
I will throw ideas out to you. So 2 stories real quick. One, if you do this and it's fun and it works for a while, you know what you can always do? Stop. You can say, you can. Right to beauty is you can say, hey, this is my last pop-up. I've enjoyed this. I spent the last year traveling the country, but I need a break for myself now. And you can take that break.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, why feel that if you do this, you have to keep doing it? There's no reason.
Right.
Right.
Exactly. That is a really good thing to remind yourself. Like, just because you decide to try something doesn't mean like you have to do it forever.
So
And
Kathy-
it doesn't mean that if you leave it, you have failed.
No,
in some
you're pivoting.
right?
You're doing something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The beauty of your story, I really like the angle. I mean, I have so much to talk to you about with this. I like your angle of supporting women because I think your story is inspiring. You don't have to pitch your story as you can leave and go do the van life too. That's not really your story.
No.
Right? Because you're not saying to women, divorce your husband and go get a van. you're not.
No,
right?
that's not what I'm saying. Right.
Hi, I'm Terry. I can teach you how to leave your husband in 5 easy steps. It's more like what we talked about before we sat down, saying, hey, you know what? This isn't right for me. I'm going to move in this direction.
Yeah.
And so that could be enhancing your relationship with your spouse. Whatever it is that you're saying, I'm going to be true to what's important to you. I'm going to pursue those things.
Yeah.
Because Kathy and I she hears me talk about this all the time. Life is an infinite game, right? The end point is your death. The goal is to stay in it as long as possible and live it fulfillingly, right? There's no prize. You don't win van life of the year. There's no award for at the year anniversary of you starting this. You're getting an award for best van life and you do something else.
Yeah.
The goal is to do this as long as you can.
Right.
And it's
Or
for
as long
yourself.
as you want
As long as
to
I
for
feel like-
yourself.
It's for
Right.
yourself.
Yeah, and so I swear to you, if you called me up and said, let's brainstorm some ideas, I would love to help you with it. Because last thing I'm going to tell you is my oldest daughter went to the University of Oregon. She was a walk-on. It's where she always wanted to go to school. She played volleyball for them. Okay? And then her senior year, she was awarded a scholarship. And I said, you got to tell your story because it could lead to all these other things. Now, she ended up doing this and she had some opportunities. She just didn't feel like pursuing it. Stage of life thing. And she listens to the podcast, so I don't want her to think I'm criticizing her. But she had a podcast, a blog at the time, podcasts weren't really out, called For the Love of the Game. No, for A Chance to Play. It was called A Chance to Play. And she just chronicled how hard it is to be a walk-on because she isn't getting books paid for. All these other girls are getting everything. She has to earn all her stuff. She's still playing as if she has a scholarship, but she doesn't. But she wrote this, and next thing you know, other people are starting to take interest in her. It starts to inspire people. She was asked, and she could comment after this is over, to, like, I think extend this on beyond that. Maybe do consulting work for girls who want to play volleyball or sports in school. The point that I'm trying to make is she decided to tell her story.
Yeah.
And she got this big following from it.
Yeah.
And she had a chance to monetize it. She just chose not to.
Right.
What you're doing is inspiring. And last thing I'm going to say, and this is really misogynistic, positive,
Good precursor there. Thanks for the heads up.
is so misogynistic.
What?
Women love stories of other women doing this stuff. There is not a book
Why is
called,
that misogynistic? I think that's
because there's no book for men who really go out on these journeys because men
Jack
do
would
this
always
stuff.
say
Oh,
there's
like
no-
David Goggins or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but he's different. There's no eat, pray, love. There's no guy saying, I
Yeah.
need a break to try to figure this shit out because men don't do that.
Yeah.
And women
I
tend
don't know
to.
if that's true.
Well, they might, but there's just no. That's what we do anyway, right? We leave our wives. Well, you know what I'm getting at. I just think it's inspiring what you're doing. And if you're curious about monetizing it, maybe painting the van is overkill. I
said wrap, not paint.
Well, we
wrap.
wrap it, but I do feel strongly that.
Maybe just a magnet you can put
Yeah,
on.
Like
but
a
if you tell
flower.
people I'm coming here
Yeah.
to do this stuff, and I'm a proponent of, it's not a van life you're a proponent of, it's living your fullest life. And I'm driving the country to spread that word. And so if you're going to be in Fort Wayne, who's ever there, show up. We're going to do a quick workout, give you some exercise tools, some mindfulness stuff, and blah, blah, blah.
Well, it's not going to be in Fort Wayne because I'm going to get my ass kicked.
Well, you know
over
what I
3
mean,
days
wherever
while
it
I'm there.
is.
Yes.
Stop.
Yeah.
right? I just think you got your shit together. It's a cool thing to experience, and who knows how long it's going to last.
Well,
or how long
clearly the universe is trying to tell me something because this is the second conversation I've had like this in a couple of hours.
Yes.
So-
Wow.
It is a testament
Yeah.
that you're being witnessed and you're on a wonderful journey, and
Have you-
to find a way to share that with others too in other ways.
Have you watched The Secret at all?
Years ago, but yes.
Watch it again. Because this is everything that's happening right now, I believe, is the...
Well, did we talk about Joe Dispenza the last time?
I don't know,
remember.
but we know who he is.
Yeah.
I mean, because he was
Yeah.
like, I think, was he part of The Secret? But like, he takes it the next level. Like, yes, that works, but you'll have to take action, right? Like,
Yeah, it's
you
belief
can't-
followed up with action. So
Yeah.
that's why
Yeah.
it's interesting. what I find fascinating, and you've said it already, and if people who are listening are really, really listening to your words, my biggest thing is if you know your reason why, whatever that reason is, to date someone, to pick up and go someplace, to decide to lose weight, whatever it is, the how comes naturally. And you even said it. I just know once I was on the road, I want to do this. And you figured out how to put a netting up on a van, right? You said, well, man, I've done it the best, but we did
Figured out how to get a van.
But the how, that's what I mean. But the how solved itself, right?
Yeah.
Because there was a why behind it. And so I think sometimes when people go, how am I supposed to do that? Or how am I supposed to do this? It's because they haven't reached a place of, I want to do this because it's going to change my life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'll tell you that the whole, like, don't worry about the how, you know, that really resonates for me with a lot of stuff. But when it comes to like, oh, let's monetize what you're going to do, I get stuck on that how. I do. I get stuck on like
You've
how.
got so many friends that support you that if you just put it in the universe, and I believe this, I'm looking to try to find a way to monetize it. My ideas, Kathy's, other friends become this conglomeration of thought.
Yeah.
And you're smart enough to say, I'm going to pick these and try them.
Yeah.
And the first steps
I'm gonna
might
start
not be
trying
the,
them.
yeah. The
And
first
I think
steps might not be
there's
right,
going
but
to be
there's no
something
failure.
about being. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
What'd you say? I missed
I
that.
said there's no failures.
Well, I'm
There's
okay
no
with
failures.
trying
Learning
shit that
from-
doesn't work. I don't care, you know. But I think there's going to be something about the different environment, being not here, not with all my normal people, just on my own in solitude, that will facilitate some unlocking of these hows.
Yes. Yeah.
They'll
absolutely.
come to you.
That's
They
what I
just
mean.
will.
That's what I
They
mean.
will.
And also continue to ask the question, and the people you have the conversation with, who knows? It might be a collaboration moment with somebody you meet along the way on your journey.
Right.
You just don't know, right?
Right.
So I want to hear, we got as far as Fort Wayne before we pivoted and went on this
Oh,
wonderful
I wanted to
path
tell you
of-
about the Overlander
So-
Expo. That's what
Yeah,
I'm.
Oh, that's
I'm
what it
so
is.
excited
So I'm
about
not
Okay.
going to talk now. I got my 15 minutes of fame in. I'm done.
So Jeff told me about that. Are you
Overlander
familiar
Expo.
with it?
No.
So they do it I think 4 times a year in 4 different spots.
Different cities.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think the last one was in Loveland, Colorado, and I think it's been in Oregon, and I think it's been maybe in Flagstaff or something. And then the East one is in Virginia.
Okay.
And that happens in a few weeks.
Okay.
And it's an expo, so all of the van builders and all the camper, not big RVs, but
Yeah.
like the campers that go on the back of a truck, and then all of the gear and all of the whatever excess, like e-bikes and all the excess like stuff,
Yes.
plus people doing presentation, like there's going to be a woman talking about van life and safety for women, and then you can learn to ride motorcycles, whatever, but then everybody can camp. So all these people who are in vans and in truck campers and stuff are all gathering and camping for 4 days, 4 nights, and hanging out. And there's like movie night, and there's I don't
Do you
even
need
know
a
everything.
reservation?
Yeah, you have to buy
Okay.
tickets.
Did you do it already?
Yeah, I have my tickets, and
Yay.
they had forest camping that was already sold out. So I'm camping like on the grass with everybody else. It's basically like parking lot camping, but on the grass.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
But it's boondocking
Yes.
for 4
Yes.
days.
So
That's why I'm practicing.
So describe boondocking.
So boondocking is when if you have a camper or a vehicle that you can camp in, if you go to a campground, you can plug in to shore power and have everything work the way it's set up to work. If you're boondocking, you're not doing that, and you're utilizing your reserve battery power, and you have to be smarter about it so that you don't wind up with a dead battery or blown out battery because you did something dumb, which I did really dumb stuff in the very beginning with mine and learned from it. And so, but there's like little things. So it's supposed to be maybe cooler in the nighttime then. I don't have the kind of, I only have heat with the van's heat. I don't have like a heater
Right, the
in the
engine
back.
heat.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I bought an electric blanket this was my stepmom's idea. She's brilliant with all this stuff. putting it underneath the mattress pad
For storage?
I'm going to lay on the heated blanket underneath stuff, and it'll keep me warm.
Nice.
But I had to look at like, how much energy does it use, and is it going to
Yes.
drain my battery?
Measuring watts
Yes.
now and amps.
Yeah,
and
I'm
that
looking
kind
at
of
watts
stuff.
and amps and
Yeah.
stuff like that, and
I
trying
own
to
an
ma-
electric car, so it's really cool when you start to think about how you utilize energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's like another thing
I
that
love
I'm
it.
paying attention to, and
I
then I'm
love
going to
it.
have to conserve my water because I only will have 30 gallons.
Yeah.
And figure out if I'm going to poop and crank in the van or find somewhere else to do it, and decide how many days I can go without a shower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I can take one in my van, but then I would fill my tank, my
Yes.
waste tank, really
Yes.
quickly,
Yes.
and use up
There's
my
a
other one.
trade-off. There's a trade-off. You gotta
so
weigh
it's
that
just,
out.
you know.
Yeah.
I think the other part of the story that I think is interesting, could be interesting for people, is the whole. I hated to call myself a North Shore Nancy, but I was kind of a North Shore Nancy.
Yeah. Yeah.
To this
Yes.
and that,
Yes. Does this feel more authentically you? Yeah.
totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So that takes you to, where did you say the Overlander is?
That's Virginia.
Virginia.
And then I'm going to
after-
Asheville.
Then
Asheville.
Asheville.
Mhm.
Okay.
And then I want to go to, and so that's all booked. All of those are booked.
Okay. Got it.
And I learned from Jeff that I probably don't need to book out more than
Too
like
far? Especially not
6
this
or 8
time of year.
weeks. Yeah, leave myself open for things that might happen along the way.
Spontaneous
I might
things.
decide to stay somewhere longer, or I might meet someone that says, "Hey, maybe you want to go here." So I don't want to wind up having to cancel things, you know.
Sure.
But the place I'm next interested in going is the beachy part of Charleston. Have you guys
Yeah.
been there?
I've been at Yeah, we were just in Charleston.
Have
for
you been to the
Saturday a
beach?
couple
we
years
didn't
ago.
go to the beachy parts. We didn't go to the beachy parts.
We had, well, we didn't go. Yeah, we kind of did.
We did?
Yeah, for dinner we went along the river.
That was
close
like a
to
canal. That
Oh.
wasn't a beach.
It. Oh, it was in beachy, but
Well,
yes,
I found
we
a
were in
hip camp.
Charleston.
I'll show it to you guys.
Charleston's great.
I love it. I've been
You
there a
been to the
couple of
downtown
times.
then? Yeah. Okay.
Love.
Yeah, it's really
and
cute.
I love how you can be in the downtown, but you could. Last time I was there, I
Yep.
stayed like 10 minutes outside of downtown, and
Yeah.
it felt like
Yeah.
Brookfield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dennis
And-
and Carol love
it.
Charleston.
I really like
Too.
it. The first time I was there,
Yeah.
I fell in love with it and thought I could live there forever.
Yeah.
And then I'd like to go to Savannah from there, and that's where my
Savannah,
friend Jeff is
Oh,
from.
so cool.
Okay, that's where your
And so
friend is
he's
from.
got all the this is
Okay.
where he told me how I could boondock right in the city,
Oh.
really.
like right in a square, like
Oh.
yeah.
Well, that's
and
kinda cool.
So I want to
Do you
that.
just park your van and then they don't really know you're in
So
there? and
another
then
thing he
you-
told me, and I don't know if I should say this, but he said that women can
We have
totally
4
get
listeners,
away.
so don't
That's
worry.
right. I forgot about that. Women can get away with boondocking in all kinds of places that men probably couldn't.
Yeah, because men
Right,
look like men
it's
look
not
like
creepy.
creepers.
It's not
Yeah.
creepy for a woman to be in a van in like some random subdivision for a night. Where if a man did it, it would be scary.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we've got a little bit of an advantage of like where we can just sort of decide to park
That's
for a
cool.
night.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm excited to do that. I'm excited
Yeah,
to just like
for
have
sure.
city stays where I can. Oh my God, doesn't
No
that sound
doubt.
fun?
It sounds
does.
like a blast.
Yeah.
Let's get this house done so we can
I told you what I wanted to do.
road trip.
I wanted a
Yeah.
camper to tow behind that truck and get rid
Do you
of
know what an
everything.
earth roamer is?
Never heard of an earth roamer, no.
Oh, you're gonna have to Google that. The company
Okay.
that
Okay.
actually made my truck,
Who made your truck?
they're
Who
called
was it?
27
Ram.
North.
Yeah.
27.
It's a Dodge. It's a
It's a
Ram
Dodge Ram,
Master.
yeah.
But
Okay.
27 North did the build on it.
Yeah.
And they do these. They put these camper things on the back of like big
flatbeds
pickup
like our
trucks.
truck, yeah.
On big pickup trucks
Yeah.
that are
On the flatbed of the pickup
no.
truck. Oh,
well,
just,
it's
or they're
remember
hitched.
the old style campers
Yeah,
that
yeah.
would be on the back of a pickup.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is the modern version of that.
It's really
It's
cool.
insane. It's insane. And so they do them, and then there's this other company called. There's a lot of them, but
Yeah, I
Earth Roamer's
bet.
kind of one of the ones that people really know about. Cause I'll show them to you after.
Okay.
You're gonna
Okay.
be like,
Okay.
you are gonna be like, I want mine until you see how much they cost.
Until you see how much
yeah,
they
that's
cost.
the problem. I have longed for having this kind of life. I really have.
Yeah, I'm
I
in.
mean,
I just
don't
have
worry,
to.
I mean,
I would
I-
have to learn how to make a. I'd have to figure out how to make a living because once I leave here, I kind of leave my career when you're in real estate, right? So
Well, in this
figure
part
that
of real
out.
estate, in this sector of real estate, in
True.
this genre of real estate.
Yeah,
But there's
buying
lots
and
of
selling.
genres of real. Well, no, that's too broad.
okay.
You could just be an advisor or consultant.
I believe
You
there's
could- you
other
could do
realty. There's
advertising
other
for
jobs
people.
in real estate that you don't even have to be a broker for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what is it called? Wholesaling. What about that?
So see, you know what I would like you to do in real estate?
What's
Which
that,
is
babe?
totally pimping you out. Well, you were an actress and a model. You should call up everybody who does staging and go, I'll do the video for you, $500, $1,000 a thing, where you walk through, talk about the house, and you become the de facto spokesmodel for homes and stuff
We're
like
gonna
that.
teach you how to film.
I could do that. I could kick ass with that shit.
This is the other thing I'm learning, though, is that there are so many things that we could be doing that we have no idea about.
I know.
You seem really energized by this. You seem much different than when you were
I'm
here last time.
energized by
Really?
your energy.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it's great.
I think it's very cool.
I think this is a perfect time to stop.
Yeah. Thank you so
Is
much
that okay?
for sharing your
Yeah.
story.
You're going to keep
And-
sharing with us what's going on, right? And if you want monetized ideas, you're gonna call
Yeah,
us.
I will definitely bark up your tree for those.
I think it's really cool. I'm glad you stopped by. And for everyone listening, we're going to post some pictures, post this that we took of the van. So you
Oh,
guys
yeah,
can see
check
it.
those
And
out
then
'cause
what
they
is your
can see the van.
Instagram account and Facebook account so people can follow you? I mean, again, we've got 7
T
listeners.
T Luna,
the van.
The van life.
The van
There
life?
might be a dot, like T Luna dot the
The
van, life.
Okay.
And
we'll
then,
make sure we
and
post
then
that.
your other one
Is Coach dot T Luna.
coach.tluna. Yes.
Can we take
we'll
a,
make sure
and after this, I want to take a cartoon picture of her
Okay.
for the,
Yes. You
Site.
got it,
Would
babe.
you do that with Snapchat or something?
yeah, that's exactly it. Put that filter on. It's my
Oh,
favorite
like
filter.
here, guys, the one. Have
The
you guys
cartoon
done
one.
those lately?
We haven't done a video like that in a while. I really want to, but we get ripped on for doing it. They're like, show
I
your
don't know
faces.
why.
Well, there were
Those are
people that
fun.
were like, "We love your real
I
faces."
love your real faces,
so we
which I
kinda
don't.
started
I think I
doing
just like
more of
Kathy's
that.
really real face, not mine. It's Kathy's. Mine looks.
You make
way,
a pretty good cartoon. You make a really cute cartoon.
I
Doesn't
think
she,
I'm
like-
adorable. Absolutely.
She wishes she was that
adorable.
princess every
I
time.
love my cartoon face so much.
All
I
right,
gotta
so
show you a picture. Jeff made a cartoon face of me because he's an artist.
Oh, he
Okay.
is? Oh my God, that's awesome.
Yeah, he called me Sally CrossFit. CrossFit Sally.
one piece of advice we'd wrap up here that you would give to somebody who's thinking about all this. What's one thing you would
Thinking
suggest?
about-
Doing the van thing that you're doing. Pick it up, taking off, doing a van thing.
There is a list on the internet that's like a 10-question thing to ask yourself. 10 questions to ask yourself if you're considering van life.
Okay.
And I think it's a really valid list about
Awesome.
whether or not it's the right deal for you. That would
Okay.
be my advice, to look at that, to Google that list
That's good to
and
know.
see if check off most of them.
Is one of them, can you poop in a bucket?
It probably, yeah, I think it was one of those. Like, and another one I was like, are you afraid?
Are you
like,
afraid
if
to
you're
shit
afraid
your-
of stuff, if you're afraid of like being in a parking lot and sleeping in a parking lot at night, you probably
Yeah,
not
stay
a
in
good-
your house. Yeah, I get it.
You're very good at pooping in a bucket. You want to tell
I know.
Terry your favorite gift that I got you for Christmas?
We're campers, and one of my favorite. When you are camping and you sit around the campfire, you're drinking something. If you're drinking water, you're drinking lemonade, you're drinking wine, you're having a beer, whatever. You're usually sitting around your campfire having a drink, right? At the end
We
of the
are
day.
at least.
Yeah, you light a campfire and you do campfire shit.
Bottle
around
of bourbon,
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah, that would be you.
That'd be me.
And then, so I have to pee all night long, and I hate getting out of the tent.
We have a
Zip
tent,
up,
so we're
and I'm
sleeping in a
like,
tent.
Hey, they make a thing. Do you have it?
We have it.
A
I
bucket
bought it for Christmas.
I have
got
a
it for
bucket with a toilet seat on
Wait,
it.
no.
No. It's,
What's
There's
the thing?
something better
For chicks,
so that you don't even have to get up. Like, men can just
Don't have to
be
get
laying
up.
in bed and like pee in a something.
Yeah.
There's something.
it's a
There's something like
Vagicup or something is what they call it. It just grabs out of the
it's like a
beach.
spout.
I've seen something like that. I don't trust that I wouldn't urinate all over my
You'd have
tent.
to test it.
Yeah.
Well, our tent is, I got this big tent that has actually like a foyer. in the front now. And so
Yeah,
that's
it's a
her
two-room
bathroom.
tent.
I made
It's
a
a
bathroom for
two-room
her.
tent for
That's
the
a
two
good
of us.
idea.
I did.
Yeah,
I made a bathroom.
so I just go to the next room. I don't even go outside, and I'm like, I love my bucket
It's so ridiculous.
much.
Is it just a 5-gallon bucket with a seat on the
It's
top?
just
It
like
is. It's
a
exactly
Home
what
Depot
it's what you have in
5-gallon
your
bucket.
van, right? Only
with a
there's
seat
no
on it.
there's
Yep.
no crank.
Yep.
You can't
And
go
it just
wrong.
makes me happy all
know.
night. So that was the best.
The only thing
gift
better
Jack
would
has
be a
ever
catheter.
purchased. There you go.
What are we doing? Get
Girl
a
talk.
catheter.
Girl
Who
talk.
would want a catheter? That sounds awful.
People without penises
I wouldn't want
want to make it
Listen,
easier.
when I had my babies and I got catheterized for the birth,
You
Yeah.
loved
you
it?
know, after you're like, well, you don't know, but at the end of pregnancy, you just have to pee all the time, and you're
Yeah.
like so over it.
Yeah.
And then and then they had a C-section and they catheterized
Yes,
me, and
yeah.
and they wanted to come take it out. I was like, can we just keep it a little longer?
Get it for the first year.
It's really nice.
Oh my God, that's crazy. On that
I
note,
love it.
give me a piece.
All right.
Peace.
Peace.
Thank you.
Thank you, Terry.
Thank you.
Okay, well, that was fun.
That was.
That was really great. It was so, I don't know what I expected before the interview. I was just really excited to hear her story. And Terri has been on a wonderful personal adventure, and she's learning so much about herself. And, you know, the context of our podcast is really relationship driven, but at the core of each relationship is the individual, right? And it's our own personal growth. And Terri going on this journey in the van, which is so enviable, you know, because the van is fucking killer.
Tripped out. Yeah, it's
Oh
pretty cool.
my gosh, it's so
It's tricked out
cool.
for sure. Yeah.
And
It's like
she's
I think
doing
I said
it. And
tripped
she's
out, by the way. It's tricked.
tricked.
I think I said tripped.
It's tricked out. And
Mm-mm.
it's just, I think she's doing an amazing thing. And she said the biggest word that describes what it feels like is free. She feels
Yeah.
free. That's incredible.
Yeah, it was pretty neat.
She researched the crap out of this van
Yeah.
and made this purchase, and she is subletting her place here in Milwaukee, and she's really lowered her overhead, and she still works her 30 days a week as a
30 hours.
30 hours away.
30 days
30
in a
days
week.
a week.
That's
Thank you.
Fucking exhausting.
Yep. 30 hours a week, and she's doing it, and she's about to take off again this weekend and be gone for who knows how long. She has a plan.
Yeah. Going to Asheville. Well, she's going to Rockford, Illinois, then Fort Wayne.
Fort Wayne.
To compete in. Well, talk about, we learned, so we had dinner with her afterwards. So
Yeah.
we talked mostly about the podcast. We tried to keep it to a certain time limit. I'm a time hawk for that kind of shit.
We could have kept talking to her
We could
forever.
have. So we ended up sharing some more drink, and we made some food and all healthy shit, which was cool because we kept to our diet. Mm-hmm. Had some vegetables and some grilled chicken. And anyway, we went outside and talked and shared more just about a whole bunch of topics that could have been a 4-hour Joe Rogan-esque podcast.
Absolutely.
So it's really cool. We're just, it's, you know, hats off to Aaron Tim for suggesting we get more guests. And I think it's kind of good for us. And, you know, if I can say this, it does get that wanderlust because, you know, I've always wanted to get an Airstream and pull it behind the truck. So, but she is heading off to Fort Wayne, where I was going with this, to compete in an CrossFit. In a CrossFit competition where she was the number one qualifier.
International qualifier in her age category.
So pretty fucking impressive.
Yeah.
Man.
Yep. She is impressive.
She's strong. I don't think she could kick my ass, though. I still think I'm strong.
I think she could definitely kick your ass.
I think I could.
I think, yep.
She'd beat me up silly.
She would.
Yeah.
But we enjoyed some deep, wonderful conversation with her at dinner as well. But so hope you guys
enjoyed the
this
podcast.
as
Yeah,
well.
it was fun for us.
And that it inspires.
Yeah.
And I don't know, if you've done the van life or just sold everything you've owned and gone and done your own thing,
It's kind of
let
cool.
us know.
Well, and I like
it's
how.
really fascinating.
Yeah, I like how.
Especially at this point in life.
Yeah, and I like how, you know, she said, and she even said as she left the house, she liked how we brought up the fact that this is for right now.
Yeah.
And this is not permanent. You don't know where this is going. You may do this the next 10 years. You may do it for 10 weeks and go, I'm done.
Yeah.
It's cool to be able, I think the message really is what Terri was saying is, because she shared some stories about other people that she knows when we were having dinner, about how she hears so many people saying, oh, I wish I could do that. And Terri was like, then just do it.
Right.
You know, and that to me is the biggest message from all this, whether it's a van or moving to a different country or, you know, finding that house or whatever it is, it's do it. This isn't a dress rehearsal, right?
Yeah. And it's cool to witness people that truly did just do it.
Just do it.
It's so brave.
It sounds like an
All right,
ad
Terri.
of a commercial.
We love you, girl.
Yeah, thanks for
Travel
hanging, Terri.
safe. We'll check in with you soon.
Keep us posted. Later.
Ciao.
Jack and Kathy Shit Show outro take 652.
Start off laughing. You just listened to another episode of the Jack and Kathy Shit Show.
Our senior producers are me.
Hey, and me,
This episode was produced, engineered, and mixed by
the amazing Key Honar.
Email your questions, comments, or interesting relationship stories to Jack and Kathy shitshow@gmail.com. That is Kathy with a C.
Be sure to follow and like our marvelous shit show on Instagram and TikTok at Jack and Kathy Shit Show. Apparently liking and following is a thing.
It is?
Yeah.
This episode was produced by Pint Productions 2022. Point!